This is a schematic of a configured filling station, and it illustrates the configuration present in the PSS. In this video, we will deconstruct the configuration and then rebuild it so that you can see how the individual components and devices are associated. Initially, we will define the grades, which represent the fuels dispensed from the fueling points on the forecourt. Each grade requires a unique ID, which is used when the station's individual fueling points are configured. The example filling station dispenses the following grades: Super UL, Unleaded, Premium UL, which is a blended grade made by mixing two products, and Diesel. Each grade must be assigned at least one price, which is associated with a price group. Although the PSS can use multiple price groups, we will configure only one. When the configuration changes are saved, the status information for the relevant item is updated in the configuration menu group box. The next step defines the products. These represent the fuels delivered to the site and typically are stored in tanks. Each product must be assigned a unique ID, which is used to associate the product with one or more of the storage tanks. Now we will define all the storage tanks present and provide each one with a unique tank ID. We then assign a unique product ID to indicate the contents of each tank. If any of the tanks are connected together, also known as manifolded, then this relationship is registered here. This information is required when wet stock reconciliation is needed. Note that tanks 3 and 4 are manifolded. Tank gauges are the first of the forecourt devices that have an electrical interface to the PSS and provide it with data. Therefore, in addition to the unique ID that every device requires, we also need to specify the PSS port to which the tank gauge system is connected. It is also necessary to use the unique tank IDs to specify in which tank the gauge is installed. When the configuration changes are saved, the status information for the relevant item is updated in the configuration menu group box. Before we can configure the fueling points, we need to define the fueling mode groups. These use the fueling modes that are already defined to implement any fueling restrictions that may be necessary for the individual fueling points. We are now ready to configure the fueling points. A fueling point can only dispense fuel to one vehicle at a time, and each fueling point must be assigned a unique ID, which typically will mirror the numbers used on the forecourt to identify the individual dispensers. We also need to specify to which PSS port the device is connected and the type of connection used. It is important that the physical address assigned in the configuration matches that set in the physical fueling point. The individual grades available to the customer must be specified for each fueling point. To do this, we define a grade option and then assign one of the grade IDs we configured already. We also need to specify which tank contains the product required to provide the selected grade. In addition to this, we need to specify the number of product parts required in the grade. A grade with a part equal to 1 indicates that the product and the grade are the same. When a blended grade is available, then it is necessary to provide the mixing ratio of the two products by defining the parts for each product in the grade. Each fueling point must have one or more operation mode defined. The operation modes enable you to control the behavior of the individual devices without having to change them individually. They can be used to determine how devices operate during identified operational periods, for example, during rush hour periods or night operation. The operation modes are defined by using the service modes, fueling mode groups, and price groups. When all the parameters for the individual fueling points have been defined, their configuration can be saved to the temporary configuration file, and the status of the configured fueling points in the Devices group box is updated. Now that all the devices are configured for the site, we are ready to upload the configuration to the PSS.